Let's get started right away. Clover Health stock has had a pretty red week this week, staying under the $8 range for most of the week. We did, of course, see a couple of increases above that $8 range. Even today, hitting $7.96 for the intraday high. The question is, why are we continuing to see these low prices for this stock, right? Because at the end of the day, the bad news that surrounds this entire thing is really about the stock, not about the company. That's something, again, to reiterate. It's about the stock that there's bad news, but not about the company. There's only good news that I've actually heard about Clover Health. You take a look at the price movement and it tells almost the opposite story. So what the heck is going on? Is it sheer manipulation that's going on? Are they trying to deliver bad news, giving us these $7 price targets about Clover Health stock to try to bring the price down so they can build their positions in it? Because that's what it feels like, especially with the new positions as well on this stock that we've seen in the past couple of days. But as you can see from this graph, or this chart up here, of the stock, we can see that this week has been pretty red, getting a little bit up in the middle of the week there on the 22nd and 23rd, but then bring us all the way down to $7.64. It's been a while. It's been a very long time since we've seen the $7.64. And I know that, you know, at the very first video on my channel, going way back in time, we saw this stock at $6.93. You can check that out on my channel, right? But I am not worried. I am one of those people that look at the price movements and see really a green light to make purchases and buy more shares of Clover Health personally, right? Because I want to overall decrease my average for my holdings of this stock, because I still believe at the end of the day, it is a good company. It is a good play, and still long-term holder here, but I'm still interested in seeing a short squeeze or a gamma squeeze for this stock, similar or akin to what we saw for AMC. That is something that I kind of want to see for this, but we will have to see. So, you know, overall, let's go ahead and talk about the price movements of the day, of course, because that's what we're here for. So on the price movements of the day, though, we started out at $7.85, hitting pretty much the high almost immediately, as I mentioned before, $7.96, and then it started dropping, going under that volume weighted average price. We know it was going to be a kind of a bearish day, but man, oh man, did we not know that we would be going under 30 for the RSI at, you know, $7.68, and then hitting an intraday low of $7.64. If you hit that, you are a genius, because that was, again, the low of the day if you bought in at that price right there, right? And of course, as I mentioned in the title of my previous video, we have seen a lot of barcoding happening for this stock. Basically, the bid and ask are basically the same throughout the day, and look at this fight that they are continuing to have. We had a little bit of upward movement, of course, at the end of the day, and closing at $7.73, but in the after hours, we had that little bit of a decline down to $7 and currently 69 cents. So again, a lot of barcoding, a lot of potential stabilization around this price level. Are we going to get to $7.50? Is it going to, you know, stabilize here a little bit longer and give us the opportunity to get more shares at these low prices? I hope so. Truthfully, I hope so, because I think a temporary thing like this is really, really good. Obviously, no one wants to see the price go to zero. I doubt it's going to go to zero or anything like that. This company's not going to go bankrupt. They have a ton of cash and stuff like that, but I don't think that it belongs in the $7 range for a very long time. I think that it has high potential to get back to $15, $16, $17, all the way up to $25. That $15 to $20 range, $25 range is where I think the stock should be at. And these price targets that are very low, $7, they're bogus. They're bogus. They don't know what they're talking about, because at the end of the day, this stock and this company, think about it in a company perspective, has had only great news, and it's got to think about all the people they brought on board to get this hyper growth company going. So we'll have to see what the price goes next week. But overall, when we take a look at the volume, it's been sitting at 15.35 million. The overall average is at 30.63 for the last 3 months. So it has been decreasing. The volume has been decreasing very dramatically and staying this week at least at the 15 million range there. I think it got a little bit lower as well, but around 15 million for the volume for each day. But overall volume is dropping on this stock. When we take a look at the order flow, we had 0 large-scale orders for the day. We had more medium-scale orders inflow than outflow. We also had more small-scale orders inflow than outflow as well for the day. So people are buying this dip in their orders and everything like that. And of course, if you like the app that I'm using, make sure to use the link in the description to get 2 free stocks, valued up to $2,300. I really appreciate it if you would do that, because it does help out the channel as well. But overall, you can use those stocks for any. You sell those stocks for any stock that you like. I know that what stock I like myself, so keep that in mind. But next, we're going to go into Ape Wisdoms to see the trending stocks on Reddit in the past 24 hours. As we can see, the S&P 500 is sitting at number 1. Sitting at number 1 there. We got Canoe, Tesla, GameStop, Alibaba, BlackBerry, Smile Direct Club, AMC, and Wish, of course. And where is CLOV sitting at? CLOV is sitting at number 12, right under Facebook and above Nike right there. So overall, you know, Clover Health hasn't moved a lot and actually didn't move anywhere this last day, sitting at number 12 spot. But the sentiment still pretty good at 60% there. With Wish, like money, buy, down, stock, up, buying, people, time, moon even. So, you know, overall, pretty good sentiment on the stock. Next, we're going to go to the meme of the day. They drop the price hoping we sell, and we just keep buying and holding. This is the way. CLOV, CLOV. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the big key for this, right? If you have the opportunity to do it, right? Because at the end of the day, I think that in a couple months, I'll at least be glad that I bought in this dip that we are currently experiencing, because that's what I believe it is. I believe that it's really just a short-term thing here where the company has great opportunity coming up. But of course, we have 45.9 thousand members in this beautiful subreddit, of course, and it is great to see, because I remember when it was around 10,000 and 20,000 way a couple of months ago. So let's see if we can get this community growing as well. When we take a look, though, at Maximum Pain. When we take a look at Maximum Pain, right, it is telling a fun story, right? Because the fun story is the Maximum Pain for next week is also $8, right? It's also $8, right? This week it was $8. We missed it by 4 cents, and we did not hold and get above that $8 range, at least for the day, But I do want to see us get above $8 very soon. But, you know, hey, take advantage while you can in the $7 range. That's my super buy area. But, you know, you take a look at the historical data. This is why I like to go to Swaggy Stocks sometimes, is because, you know, it has that historical data for the Maximum Pain as well. We can see that at least for the second half of September, the Maximum Pain strike has been above the stock price and getting much closer to them. But earlier in the month, it was kind of a different story where the price was higher than the Maximum Pain. And if you look back, it's been flip-flopping and switching all over the place for the last couple of months. So we'll see how that pans out. But right now, I don't see any consistent thing that's happening other than we are inching very much closer to that Maximum Pain with the price that we are currently at. When we take a look at the short interest percentage of the free float in Ortex, we can actually see that the current short interest percentage of the free float is sitting at 14.54%. That's a decrease, you know, of 1.69%, not too much. The cost to borrow average is sitting at 1.49%, with the cost to borrow max at 2.32%. And the big kicker for the day is seeing the days to cover. I've been repeating this for the last couple of days at the very least, is that the days to cover is changing. When we take a look at the 2-week, we are sitting at 2.66 days. When we take a look at the 3-month, we are at 1.76 days to cover. So again, where have we seen the days to cover increase? We've seen it a couple of weeks before, sitting at 4 days for the 2 weeks. A couple of days before, we saw the big kickoff to $28.85, and about 2 months before that, we saw it go all the way up to $7.53. So I think that when people see the days to cover, it's understood that, you know, it's a little bit harder to cover yourself, right? especially if the stock moves very violently, pretty much, right? And so basically, it's kind of good to see the days to cover increase, and we know that, hey, if there's more days to cover, in my opinion, if there's more days of cover, then I think that has even higher chances of seeing a type of squeeze happen. So maybe we'll see that in a couple of days. We take a look, of course, at the dark pool data, though. We can see that we're at 7.5 million for the volume of the day, about 50.69% for the day. That's pretty close to the 30-day average there for the dark pool. There's really not a lot of dark pool change on the back end there on the positions and everything like that. So I don't really cover it that much if people were wondering. And then also when we take a look at the short squeeze score, we're at 57.54, about 1,216 out of 5,382. So dropped a little bit in comparison, but hopefully we get to the high and hopefully get to number 1 again very, very soon. Short shares availability, 1.6 million. Short borrow fee rate, 0.87. So again, the short shares availability is sitting under 2 million, just like it has been, and the borrow fee rate is under 1%, which again, it has been very enticing if you want to short the stock. Right now, it's pretty cheap to do so. So overall, you know, I'm really happy. I'm really happy to see this dip occur because I again think it's temporary, and if you do the same, definitely join me, right? But overall, we'll have to see how this moves in the next week, and hopefully we have some green days at the very least in this next week. And until then, I hope that everyone has a great trading day. You lucky people. Take care. Bye-bye.